Assalamu alaikum viewers. From behalf of your live team, I am here. Today's our topic is related from our current issue series, and the our topic is based on the how the world behave after the coronavirus, how the economy will look after the coronavirus pandemic. The pandemic will change the economist and the financial order forever. We ask nine leading global thinkers for their predictions after many weeks of lockdown, tragic loss of life, and the shattering of much of the global economy. Radically uncertainty is still the best way to describe the historical moment. Will businesses reopen and job come back? Will we travel again? Will the flood of the money from central bank and government be enough to prevent a deep and lasting recession or a worse? This much is certain: the pandemic will lead the permanent shifts in a political and economic power in a way that will become apparent only a later. To help us make sense of the ground shifting beneath our feet, foreign policy asking nine leading thinkers, including two Nobel Prize winning economists, to weigh in with their prediction for the economic and financial order after the pandemic. We need a better balance between the globalization and a self reliance. By Joseph and Stiglitz, economists used to scoff a call for the countries to pursue food or energy security policies in a globalization world where borders don't matter. They argued we could always turn to other countries if something happened in our own. Now borders suddenly to matter as countries hold on tightly to face masks and medical equipment and a struggle to source supplies. The coronavirus crisis has been a powerful reminder that the basic political and economic unit is still the nation state. The coronavirus crisis has been a powerful reminder that the basic political and economic unit is still the nation state. To build our seemingly efficient supply chain, we searched the world for the lowest cost producer of every link in the chain, but we were short-sighted, constructing a system that is plainly not resilient, insufficiently diversified, and vulnerable to interpretation. Just-in-time production and distribution with low or no inventories may be capable enough of absorbing small problems, but we have now seen the system crashed by an unexpected disturbance. We should have learned the lesson of the resilience from the 2008 financial crisis. We had created an interconnected financial system that seemed efficient and was perhaps good at absorbing small shocks, but it is very systematically fragile. If not for massive government bailouts, the system would have collapsed as the real estate bubbles popped. Evidently, that lesson went right our heads. The economic system we construct after this pandemic will have to be less short-sighted, more resilient, and more sensitive to be the fact that the pandemic economic globalization has far outpacked outpaced political globalization. So long as this is the case, countries will have to strive for a better balance between thinking advantage of globalization and the necessary degree of the self-resilience. This wartime atmosphere has opened a window for change by Robert G. Scheller. There are fundamental changes that happen from time to time, often during this time of war, though the enemy is now a virus and not a foreign power. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a wartime atmosphere in which such changes suddenly seem possible, though this inner enemy is a virus, not a foreign power. The pandemic has created a wartime atmosphere in which the fundamental changes suddenly seem possible. This atmosphere with narratives of both suffering and heroism is spreading with the diseases. Wartime bring people together not only within a country but also between the countries as they share common enemy like the virus. Those who live in advanced countries can feel more sympathy with those suffering in poor countries because they are sharing a some similar experience. The epidemic is also bringing us together in a countless Zoom or get together. Suddenly, the world seems smaller and more intimate. There is also There is also reason to hope that the pandemic has opened a window to create new ways and institutions to deal with the suffering, including more effective measures to stop the trends toward great inequalities, perhaps the emergency payments into individuals that many governments have made a path to universal basic income in the United States. Better and more universal insurance might just have been given no new impetus since we all are all on the same side in this war. We may now find the motivation to find new international institutions allowing better risk sharing among countries. The wartime atmosphere will fade again, but these new institutions would persist.